Now that we've downloaded an image from Pexels, let's get that image inside of Photoshop. Up until now, we've been creating new Photoshop documents with the File, New option. However, this creates a new Photoshop document. I want to show you now File, Open. So this is the way to open an individual image file so you can work on a specific image separate from a Photoshop file. So if I go File, Open, and I will find that image that I just downloaded. And there we have my cat opened up on the screen. So because we went File, Open, you'll notice a couple of things are a bit different. First of all, in the Open tab, I have the image file .jpg. So you see that this is not a Photoshop PSD file. This is a JPEG. And this is confirmed by looking at the Layers panel, seeing that we have a background layer. The background layer is the image, and it is locked. So this is very different than a Photoshop file. If you want to keep working like this on one specific image, that's great. But this is not a Photoshop document right now. So I'm going to show you how to take an image and place it inside a Photoshop document. Let's go to File, Close. And then I will create a new document by going to File, New. Dimensions aren't too important. I just want to make sure it's big enough. So I'll make it 1600 by 1000. And that's it. So to get an image inside this Photoshop document, we have to go to a different area in the menu, and it's right here, File, and you have two options here for placing images. They are very different in the way they work, although the end result is very similar. For my course, we will never use place linked. We will always use place embedded. So this will take the image file, the external image file, and place it inside the Photoshop document as if it's actually inside the Photoshop document. If you place it linked, it's not actually in the document, and that could create problems when you go to submit your work. Because when you submit your work, the the placed file will not actually be embedded in the document. So that's why we will always use place embedded to ensure that the external image file goes into the Photoshop file. So I go File, Place Embedded. I will find the image that I downloaded earlier and click Place. And this becomes a two-step process. The first step was choosing the file, and the second step is positioning it and resizing it to our liking. So at this stage, you have the transform controls. You can resize it however you want. And when you're ready, you can press the check mark to accept it. And you'll see now, this is a Photoshop document. We have a background layer that's locked, and we have the image file that has been placed as a layer inside the Photoshop document. We can therefore manipulate this layer like any other layer. So I could click and drag to move it around. But you must keep in mind that this is not actually a pixel-based layer right now. This is actually a smart object. So you see this little icon in the layer panel in the layer thumbnail? So that little icon is telling us this is a smart object. I will have a separate video explaining what that is, but keep in mind for now that you cannot manipulate this layer as if it were a pixel-based layer. We have to know more about smart objects on how to do that. Regardless, you can still move the layer around. You can go to the Edit Free Transform and play with it and do all the things that you could do to a layer aside from any pixel-based operations. I will explain that in the future video. But for now, that's how you get an image inside of Photoshop. And keep in mind that you always use Place Embedded. So File, Place Embedded.